Secretary will read House Bill 210. All right, this is what
House Bill 210 by Representative Lott of the 122nd and others. Bill to be titled and Act to amend Code Section 3122(1) of the CGA relating to definitions relative to clinical laboratories so as to provide that certain specimen collection stations and blood banks are not considered clinical laboratories for the purpose of regulation under Chapter 22 and for other purposes. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Health and Human Services recommends that this bill do pass. Submitted by Senator Unterman of the 45th. That concludes the order.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow members of the Senate, this bill changes the definition of a clinical laboratory in state law to exempt blood banks and collection stations to match federal laws and FDA regulations. And if there's no questions, I'll yield the way.
Any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is the objection agreed in the Report of Committee which failed pass the bill? Chairs none. Report of Committee is agreed to. All those in favor of the bill vote aye. Those opposed no. Secretary unlock the machine. Chair recognizes Senator 53rd.
Hey, what's your number? What's your number, Rick? Isn't it true that parliamentary inquiry?
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that maybe the senator from the 17th need to do all the rest of the bills today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday?
I don't think I could get unanimous consent for that. Chair recognizes Senator 25th.
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that I agree with everything the senator from the 53rd just said?
Absolutely. The senator has great passion for which he speaks. On the passage, the yeas are 46, the nays are 0. This bill, MC Rex Constitutional majority is therefore adopted. Secretary will read House Bill 134.
House Bill 134 by Representative Epps of the 144th and others. A bill will be titled an Act to amend Part 1 of Article 5A of Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the CGA relating to general provisions regarding the special district mass transportation sales and use tax so as to change the definition of transportation purposes regarding such tax, to change certain provisions relating to special districts and the imposition of such tax, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Finance recommends that this bill do pass by substitute. Submitted by Senator Huffstetler of the 52nd. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Finance offers the following substitute to House Bill 134. A bill to be titled an Act to amend Part 1 of Article 5A of Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the CGA relating to general provisions regarding the special district mass transportation sales and use tax so as to change the definition of transportation purposes regarding such tax, to change certain provisions relating to special districts and the imposition of such tax, and for other purposes. That concludes the order.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 21st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, I bring before you House Bill 134. It's a single county T-SPLOS reform bill. As you know, in 2015, we passed a single county transportation sales tax option with House Bill 170. So now individual counties that are not part of a regional T-SPLOS are now allowed to levy a sales tax solely dedicated for transportation purposes. HB 134 adds some flexibility, clarification, and enhancements to the existing single county T-SPLOS law. Basically, what this bill does, it does about 4 or 5 things. One, it allows single county T-SPLOS to fund state transportation projects as is allowed in the regular SPLOS law, number one. Number two, it removes the dates that are no longer relevant, so now all counties, with the exception of Fulton County, who has their own code section, would follow the same single county T-SPLOS law. Number three, it permits more than one single county T-SPLOS to be levied at the same time as long as the amount does not exceed 1%. For example, Fulton County did .75, so if they want to come back and do .25, as long as it does not exceed 1%, they can do that. After January 2018, this clarifies that regional T-SPLOS and a single county T-SPLOS cannot be on the ballot at the same time. And then finally, counties have the authority to authority to bond their T-SPLOS projects. This bill would allow cities to also bond T-SPLOS projects. That is really the overview of House Bill 134. I'd ask for your favorable consideration. And Mr. President, if there's no questions, I yield the well.
There are questions. Chair recognizes Senator Seventh.
Will Senator yield?
Yes.
In regards to the provision that would prevent a referendum for a single county T-SPLOS and a regional T-SPLOS from appearing on the same ballot, that provision.
Correct.
If a single county T-SPLOS was put on a ballot, say in September, prior to the November election and was not on the same ballot, would that still be allowed?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator in the 46th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the senator yield?
Yes.
All right, so my question is, can a county have two T-SPLOS going at one time? A single county one and a regional T-SPLOS where there's 2 cents taxed if they do it before January?
No. Well, there is one right now, and I forget the counties, but after the date of January 1st, 2018, that will not be allowed.
All right, so Clark County is one of those counties that's trying to get one on the ballot this November.
Okay.
If they do that, can they go to do a regional one in 2018 and us get 2 cents taxed on?
No. No, they can't.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No further questions.
Thank you.
Question on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection? Without objection, committee substitute is adopted. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is there objection? Agree in the Porter Committee which favor will pass the bill. Chair is none. The Porter Committee is agreed to. All those in favor vote aye. Those opposed, no. Secretary unlock the machine. Senator from 26, what purpose you rise?
Mr. President, would you entertain a motion?
No.
I mean, would you listen to the motion first?
I could listen.
I move we table everything, but House Bill 205, that ought to get y'all out of hot with the rules chairman on the other side.
Well, I think I listen, but I think you are running contrary with your leader, so we'll leave that alone for now. Chair recognizes Senator from the 18th. Foot of the calendar. Move to the foot of the calendar. Unanimous consent.
Mr. President, I would move that House Bill 234 be moved to the bottom of the calendar.
Is there objection? Without objection, it has been moved to the foot of the calendar. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 2, and House Bill 134 has passed. Chair recognizes Senator from the 54th. Do the same thing. Unanimous consent.
Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent to move 253 to the bottom of the calendar.
Is there objection? Without objection, the bill's been moved to the foot of the calendar. Chair recognizes Senator from the 7th.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that House Bill 257 be moved to the foot of the calendar.
Is there objection? Without objection, it is moved to the foot of the calendar. Chair recognizes Senator from the 40th.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent we move House Bill 506 to the bottom of the calendar.
Is there objection? Without objection, it's moved to the foot of the calendar. Chair recognizes Senator from the 45th.
I move to move House Bill 154 to the bottom of the calendar.
Is there objection? Without objection, it is moved to the foot of the calendar. Chair recognizes Senator from the 56th.
Consent that we move House Bill 117 to the foot of the calendar.
Without objection, it is moved to the foot of the calendar. Secretary will read 205.
House Bill 205 by Representative Meadows of the 5th and others. The bill will be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 4 of Title 12 of the OCGA relating to mining and drilling so as to regulate the exploration and extraction of gas and oil in this state, to provide for definition, to provide for authority to create an oil and gas board under certain circumstances, to require the promulgation of rules and regulations related to drilling and extraction, to amend provisions relating to drilling permits and for other purposes. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities recommend that this bill do pass by substitute. Semi Senator Jeffries of the 17th. Mr. President, the Regulated Industries and Utilities Committee offers the following substitute to House Bill 205, a bill to be titled an act to amend Article 2, Chapter 4 of Title 12 of the CGA relating to mining and drilling so as to regulate the exploration and extraction of gas and oil in the state, to provide for definition, to provide for authority to create an oil and gas board under certain circumstances, to require the promulgation of rules and regulations related to drilling and extraction, to amend provisions relating to drilling permits and for other purposes. Amendment 1 by Senator Huffstetler of the 52nd offers the following amendment. Amend the substitute to House Bill 205 by lines 233, strike the words contents of and insert chemicals in the lines 435 at the end of the sentence. Add a new sentence that reads, the director shall review and inside the public comments received during the public comment period. Amendment 2 by Senator Jones of the 25th and others offers the following amendment. Amend the Senate Committee on Regulated Industries and Utilities Committee substitute to House Bill 205 by striking line 7, inserting in lieu thereof the following: governments to provide for a severance tax on the extraction of oil and gas, to amend Code Section 12839 of the CGA relating to landfill costs, reimbursement fees, and surcharges so as to increase the fee charged in certain circumstances to provide for, by inserting between lines 612 and 630 the following thing. Code Section 12839 of the CGA relating to landfill costs, reimbursement fee, surcharges is amended by revising subsection D as follows. D, effective July 1st, 2017, when a municipal solid waste disposal facility is operated by private enterprise, the host local government is authorized and required to impose a surcharge of $3 per ton or volume equivalent in addition and for other purposes. That concludes the order.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 52nd to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. To borrow the line from another senator here, TGIFF, thank God it's fracking Friday. And we have Chairman Meadows' bill here to present on the Senate side. I sent y'all, it seems like a couple of days ago, but many hours ago, a chart on your desk listing the Conasauga Shell play in northwest Georgia. That's the only place that hydraulic fracturing would be done in this state. It runs through several counties there. There's actually 8 counties that it would affect, but there are another 7 counties that are in the basin there that could potentially be impacted. So the Oil, Gas, and Drilling Act of 1975 has not been updated to reflect hydraulic fracturing at this time. Specifically, the current law has no provisions directly covering fracking, the techniques to remove natural gas in which fluids are injected deep underground to create fissures in rocks and release gas trapped in underground reservoirs. The geologists estimate that there's 3 to 4 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in this area, probably about 1 to 2% of the supply in the U.S. And this will really modernize the law, say that you have to file for a permit, you have to say where you're going to drill, what direction you're going to drill, what chemicals you would put in, and your well casings, are they going to be intact? Are you going to test them? And how are you going to reclaim the land? Very common sense things. It also states in there that we do encourage oil and natural gas exploration, but we want to do it in a safe manner. We have many natural springs up there that deliver a lot of our water supply, and we want to make sure we protect them in the process. The amendment that I have, and Chairman Meadows is in agreement with it, it would simply change out where we said contents of to say chemicals in these, so that we specify that we're really looking at what chemicals are put in the ground. And the other one says we add a sentence in there that says the director shall review and consider the public comments received during the public comment period. There is another amendment, I think, being offered on this bill. I'm good with it, and the House sponsor is also good with it at Senate's pleasure. If there's no questions, I yield the well.
No questions, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from the 25th to present his amendment. Amendment 2. Amendment 1's already been spoken to.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to be as brief as my sweet mate and good friend from the 17th. This amendment right here is something I've talked to many of you about during the course of the day. It's going to affect 13 counties, and it's basically modernizing the fee structure for local landfills that really in a lot of rural Georgia's, a lot of rural counties around Georgia. It hadn't been updated since 1992. And we're going from charging private companies a $1 per tonnage fee to a $3 per tonnage fee. So I'll yield the well if there's not any questions.
You do have a question. Chair recognizes Senator from 56.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will Senator yield?
Yes.
Senator, can these local municipalities and sewage waste charge their own fees, or are they mandated to stay at that $1?
The $1 is a mandate. It's a minimum mandate, and if they go and enter into a contract, yes, they can negotiate a better deal for themselves if they so choose to.
Thank you.
No further questions. Is there objection to amendment number 1, authored by the senator from the 52nd? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Is there objection to amendment number 2, authored by the senator from the 25th? There is objection by the senator from the 31st. All of those in favor of amendment number 2, authored by the senator from the 25th, rise, stand, and be counted. If you are in favor of it, rise, stand, and be counted. I saw a press member trying to vote in the back. Reverse. Would y'all escort that press member trying to vote? Yeah, just go ahead and kick him out of the chamber. The yeas are 40 and the nays are 2. Amendment number 2 has passed. Question now is on the adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection? Without objection, committee substitute as amended is adopted. Any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is there objection agreed on Porter Committee which failed to pass the bill? Chairs none. Porter Committee is agreed to. All those in favor of the bill vote aye. Those opposed no. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 52 and the nays are 0, and this bill, MC Rex Constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Secretary will read House Bill 453.
House Bill 453 by Representatives Dry of the 59th and others. The bill will be titled an Act amend Chapter 15, Title 36 of the OCGA relating to county law library so as to add this chief judge of the magistrate court to the Board of Trustees of the county law library in each county and for other purposes. Mr. President, Senate Committee on Special Judiciary recommends that this bill do pass. Submitted by Senator Thompson the 5th. That concludes the order.
Chair recognizes Senator from the 42nd to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 453 adds the Chief Magistrate Judge of each county to the County Law Library Board. This is appropriate because they usually contribute the most to the county library, but have no guaranteed spot on the board per Georgia Code. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if there are none, I'll ask for your favorable consideration.
No questions, Senator.
Thank you.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the bill? Is there objection granted to Porter Committee which fail to pass the bill? Chairs none. Porter Committee is agreed to. Shall the main question be now put? Or the objection? Chairs none. Main question is ordered. Shall this bill now pass? Question on the pass the bill. All those in favor of the bill vote aye. Those opposed no. Secretary unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 50, the nays are 2, and this bill, MC Rex Constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand adjourned since the House has already quit business pursuant to Senate Resolution 132 until 10 a.m. on Tuesday, March 28th.
10 a.m. Tuesday. Let me just real quick say we have 2 pages that have stayed with us all night. Ashley Fricky, who is here, as well as Charlotte Martin, the daughter of the Senator of the Ninth. Thank you all very much. Thank y'all, hard workers. We appreciate that very much. We would also like to say a special thank you to James Salzer for staying with us tonight as well. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Very much, yes. I know it's way past your bedtime, but we're glad you stayed, even though we don't get any good ink out of you. But Chair recognizes Senator from the 49th. What purpose you rise?
I just noticed James Salzer got here about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, that's true, too. That's true.
He's going to leave early to make up for coming in late.
Could happen. Could happen. Are there any announcements? What?
Rules Committee will meet at 2 p.m. on Monday. That concludes the order.
Majority leaders move. We stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Tuesday. All of those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes clearly have it. We stand adjourned.